Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your reading for the middle of October 2025. We're going to jump right in here, Aries, and we're going to see what is going on for you. You have this forgiveness card and this celebration card. Some of you could be forgiving past situations. I don't think you're doing this directly with a person. You even have the Ace of Swords, which can be like an apology or something like that. But you could be, again, I think it's a good time to forgive people, even if it's just in your heart, right? You don't have to tell a person or anything like that. I don't even think that you are necessarily, but again, it is a good time for that. I think it would be a great time for you to kind of practice celebrating your wins. We have the Ace of Swords here. I think that what Aries needs to do is motivate themselves more. And I feel like the more you can motivate yourself, the better things are going to be, for sure. And, again, celebrating even your small wins, having goals where when you accomplish a goal, you do something to celebrate the accomplishment. That will probably motivate you more and help you get a lot done at this time. So I do like that. You have the Seven of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Fool. The Seven of Pentacles is something that you have probably been feeling for months, is what I would say, at least. Maybe even years. The Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's looking at those seven pentacles that he's grown, and he's saying, is it worth it or not for me to do this? And we talk all the time, Aries, about you changing work or you upgrading your work or doing work differently. And like I said, I think this is something that you've been thinking about for a very long time. I feel like some of you might have moments where it's hard to get motivated to do your work for the day, which you could say that's true for everyone. But again, I think it's a little bit different for you. It's not that you don't want to do the work that you're doing. I've necessarily, maybe some of you, of course, but it's more like you are looking to feel inspired, or you're looking to feel excited is more the energy that I get off of this card. And so you're trying to find that, something that gives you life, right? And I don't think you necessarily, like I said, Aries is the only sign that gets this message, but I don't think Aries necessarily has to leave their job. Like I say to you every single reading, it's everybody else gets these readings where it's leave your job, right? Maybe not literally, but kind of. And you get these readings where it's more saying what part of your job or your career gives you life, and how can you add more of that into what you do. And it's definitely something I would think about with the Seven of Pentacles. You have the Ace of Swords, which is a victory or big success coming in for you here, Aries. And I noticed you have this Gift of Money card coming up. It says sudden financial change. So there could be a sudden financial change coming in for you that could feel like a victory. So I do like to see that. I think you've been pushed in a direction for a long time. Like I said, it's maybe you're noticing that your job isn't cutting it as much as you want it to, or your business or whatever you do for money. And I feel if you have been making changes or trying to come up with new ways of doing things, that this could finally be leading to a victory for you or a big win, where you feel more supported or you feel like things are going a little bit better. So I do like to see this for you, Aries. I also think that a lot of you could be deciding to communicate in a different way, literally. It's maybe you're taking a more confident stance in work or business, or even if you have a business, how you promote it or how you speak about it could be changing. I think some of you have been thinking about this as well. It feels mental to me, and sometimes I feel that can be a big difference, right? It's obviously if you're trying to sell something, for example, if you're not very confident about it, then people probably aren't going to buy it. But if you can communicate in a more confident way, this is just an example, then more people will probably buy it. And I know that I made that overly simplified, but again, I think that a lot of you, this is about the way that you communicate in what you do, and it's you have this just a different level of confidence, to me, is what's popping into my head. You have the Fool. I feel that maybe over the next year, you are definitely going to take a major leap of faith. I see this for you, especially when Saturn and Neptune move back into your sign next year by February. I feel a lot of you are going to do something, maybe you don't even realize it yet, that is a big leap. I feel mostly in work or business, but really, you have a little bit of everything going on here. You have home, relationships, you have other stuff going on. Working with people shows up here as well. So we'll talk about all that in a second. But, again, I think you could be making like a big leap here. It's almost like, I wouldn't really say this is ripping the Band-Aid off. I would say it's more like making a splash, right? And so I feel a lot of you could be making a big splash in your life, which is probably a good thing, Aries, especially next year. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it now. Again, if you get an inspiration right now, then do it for sure. I'm not saying that you should wait. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, it's like, how long are you going to live the same story? King of Pentacles isn't really a bad card and good for money. Definitely can say that you're focused on building wealth. But he is the card of convention. He represents doing the same thing over and over and over again, which works in some ways. It's not necessarily a bad thing that he is doing what works, right? But the problem is that the world changes, right? And he needs to upgrade his skills or do things differently so that he can keep up with the changes. I always say my favorite thing to do with the King of Pentacles is 80% of the time, keep doing what works in all areas of your life. 20% of the time, try something new, try something different, and evolve. The trick with the King of Pentacles is evolution. It is growing through learning in all areas of your life. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Six of Pentacles. You have very matter-of-fact energy. I think that you are definitely doing this for sure. If something is breadcrumbing you, you're probably just going to cut it out. Ace of Swords is like a very decisive energy. And so if something doesn't come correct, you're probably just not even going to entertain it. If something does come correct, then you will, right? Very straightforward energy I'm getting off of these two cards. And again, I think this is a good thing. I feel maybe what I'm trying to say as well is that you have learned what to look out for. And I'm not just talking about love here. I'm talking about everything. It's like I feel you have learned what, in love when a person isn't serious. I feel like in business, you've probably learned the same thing. When a person, potential client isn't serious or when your boss isn't serious. And I feel like it's almost like you're putting yourself in a position of power by being the one to make decisions. If someone comes into your life and they're just kind of if they seem unsure, I think you'll just be like, okay, never mind. And I see you deciding to make changes on your own. It's like you don't need other people to necessarily help with the change. Yes, with the Fool, you have the Emperor. You are making a splash. Maybe this is, again, the next year or so. Saturn will be in your sign for a while, basically a little over 2.5 years when we get to next year. And Neptune will be there for many years. But I kind of feel you're doing this right away. You're making a splash or you're doing something that will make you stand out or will get you attention. So I feel very good about this energy. Emperor is kind of like a bossed up energy as well. So a lot of you could be bossing up. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Bee Spirit, says sweet results await. You have this Flamingo Spirit, says embrace the in-between. Yeah, the Bee Spirit is a great card for working together with a community. Definitely something that comes up for you because I think if you look back to 2016, 2017, 2018, those few years, basically before COVID, right? We have before COVID and after COVID now. Then I would say that a lot of you, I think, if you tried to work with people, it probably just didn't work out very well for you, in those years. And, maybe since then you've been avoiding working together with people. I feel that a lot of you learned a lot during that period of time. And now it's time to try again, right? It's like again, I think you learned when people are serious and when people aren't serious. And that's really what I would pay attention to. It's perfectly fine to work with a person in work or business or your community as long as they're carrying the weight. And, that seems to be what you've learned here. I also feel, bees vibrate, and I think you are sending vibrations out to the universe. And the Flamingo Spirit is saying, hey, when you try to manifest something, it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. So, give things time to work. You have the Four of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and the Hangman. A lot of Four of Pentacles energy in this set of readings. So, we're getting very close to a Mercury retrograde. I kind of feel good about this Mercury retrograde. Again, it's going to be from November 9th until the end of November, basically. November 29th, I think, is when it goes direct. We enter into the shadow on October 21st. But the one challenge I think is Four of Pentacles, which is like holding on too tightly to the past. I think this Mercury retrograde could bring up feelings of like wishing that things were the way they used to be when things were easier or different or whatever. But I also think that's where your competitive advantage is, right? It's like, reminds me of YouTube. YouTube is being overrun by crap AI content. In one way, it's like hurting views for a lot of people. And the other way, I think it is the competitive advantage. It's like if you focus on your own uniqueness and being different and sharing your own experience, it's like you will stand out. And I feel that's what the Four of Pentacles is saying. Is like, yeah, maybe you wish things were different or things weren't happening the way they are in some area of your life. But if you take a minute to really look at what's happening, there might be some sort of like advantage in the problem. It's like whatever the problem is. And I hope that makes sense. This could be in any area of your life. Could even be love. It's like, maybe you're starting to realize that everybody in love is like the same. And so if you act different, maybe you're going to attract a different result. And I think it's almost like the Four of Pentacles is trying to say to you, Aries, that the blockage is actually the advantage if you can mess around with it, right? You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card that says it's a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is for you, then it's for you. Like when you truly believe something deep down inside. I do get that knowing energy. We have the Ace of Swords. We go from the Seven of Pentacles down to the Lovers. For some of you, this could absolutely be like an earth sign that's coming in love, if you're looking for love, and maybe you just know that it's the right person. For others, I feel it's a decision that you're making, and this is probably a decision you've been trying to make for a very long period of time. The Seven of Wands, he never really feels ready to make a decision, even if we look at his feet. He has a shoe and a boot on his feet here. And so the story of the card is that he had to rush out of his home to defend his position at the top of the hill. And so he doesn't really feel ready for something. But, really, again, there will never be a perfect moment to do anything. So the Seven of Wands says you're as ready as you're going to be to make some sort of choice or decision in your life. And the other thing is that we have the Hangman right here. The Hangman is hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom. He's put himself on pause so that he can gain enlightenment. And now now it's time to move forward. It's like you've gained the answers you need to move forward on some sort of choice or decision, probably this that you've been thinking about making. And I feel you could be making that choice or decision like this month. And, for a lot of you, I feel this is probably work related. You definitely could be making a choice in love, but I feel bigger picture, this is something that has to do with your finances or how you make money in the first place. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Yes, everything you want and desire in your life. Again, I do feel that you have a lot of great opportunity to create a lot of financial success. Again, Uranus retrograding into your second in November will be, it's kind of that final last goodbye from Uranus having been in Taurus for a long time. Uranus in the second is very challenging in the first place, which you've been experiencing that for like 8 years now. You've had Uranus in your second. It's like you can make a lot of money with Uranus in your second, but things can come up. It's like years ago, I had Uranus in my second, and it's like I was stuck in this cycle where I was like always making just what I needed, right? Even one time I had a problem with my car, and I literally made to the penny the amount of money I needed to fix my car during Uranus in my second, right? It's like I would like get ahead, but then the money would be taken away, right? And so that is Uranus in the second. Now in Taurus, it's not as bad. When Uranus was in my second, it was in your sign. It was in Aries, right? And Uranus is not the greatest in Aries, and so so it's a little bit more challenging. But in Taurus, it's kind of got a focus on this right here. Uranus in Taurus wants us to build and leave a legacy. It wants us to create true security and true freedom. It wants us to build something that we can lean on. Not only that, you have Saturn moving into your sign in February next year. It's retrograding in Pisces right now, but it's already been in Aries, so I would say you might as well act of it as if it's in Aries still. And Saturn in Aries wants you to build something long term. It wants you to work on things that are going to set you up for the long haul. And a lot of you could be focused on projects like that. Make sure to like and leave a comment, by the way. Really helps me out. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Hermit. Yes, it's time to shine, basically, here, Aries. Seven of Wands, he's very kind of trying to protect something. He feels that something in his life isn't ready to be revealed. But the Hermit has been through the difficulty. He's been through a dark night of the soul, and now it's time for him to reveal his inner light. So definitely time for you to shine on something. And this is probably a decision that you're trying to make. You have the Lovers here, which could be love, but the Lovers traditionally was about being at a crossroads in love, having a choice to make in love. But I also feel in a general reading, it could be any choice that you're trying to make. With the Hangman, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, I feel like it's time to move forward, right? I kind of go back and forth on the Knight of Swords. Sometimes I feel he's being too hasty. He's trying to rush something. But in this situation, I feel like you're not rushing with the Hangman. It's like you already have the enlightenment. You have the answers necessary to make a choice. So, that's pretty much what I would do there. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Gift of Money card. It says, sudden financial change, windfall, small monetary increase, small win, quick turnaround, joy over money. Love it. You have this Fortune Teller. It says, psychic gifts, unexpected news, intuition, external forces, future, the unknown, fate, seeking answers. You're getting answers for sure with the Knight of Swords and the Hangman. You already have the answers here, Aries. So in whatever choice you're trying to make. And, that looks good. Definitely could be money coming in for you as well. You have the Seven of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Lovers. I feel that this is saying, you need to be paying attention. Sometimes with the Seven of Swords, I feel that he is talking about doing something that requires careful attention. So if you're working on a project, a business, even a relationship, the Seven of Swords sometimes I think can say just pay attention. It's not really saying anything major. It's just saying pay attention to what's going on in the situation. He's kind of looking over here. He's not looking at where his feet are going, right? And I don't think this is a good or a bad thing in your reading. I think it's just an energy of needing to pay attention to what you're doing. The Seven of Swords can also represent needing to have more fun or needing to enjoy yourself more. So he has these polka dots on his cloak. Polka dots in the tarot represent needing to have more fun, needing to enjoy yourself more, needing to do more of the things that you love in life, and I definitely feel that would be good for you. You have the King of Pentacles again in this reading. So King of Pentacles is about wealth building. And definitely with that Gift of Money card, there you could be focused on wealth building or building wealth. I would make sure that you're not, kind of what's popping into my head with the Seven of Swords is, and also the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles, is that you should be building things that are repeatable and sustainable. Sometimes I think we can make money, like I said, with Uranus in your second house, right? It's you can make money very quickly, but sometimes it doesn't last with that energy. So it's about focusing on building repeatable systems in work, in business, in your career, doing things to make your finances more predictable. That could include learning how to save money or learning how to invest money or something like that, right? So if you work on those things, then you are going to increase your wealth. And that is definitely something I would focus on with the King of Pentacles. But I also am getting predictability here. It's if you have a business or a career or something that isn't predictable, if you're in sales, for example, or if you're on freaking YouTube, right? It's income is not predictable. So it's what can you do to create something another business or, part of a business or, again, what can you do to make it more predictable? I feel if you learn how to do that, things will get better. You have the Lovers. Definitely could be love coming in for you. You've been getting a lot of love with me. Again, I do like the King of Pentacles because he is predictable. So you could be attracting a person who's more predictable. King of Pentacles also usually want something long-term. They actually want to be in a connection. So, you could be attracting someone who actually wants to be in a connection with you, which of course is good. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Chariot. The Chariot is like a victory or a win coming in for you here. So I do feel that there could be a victory. You have the Ace of Swords as well, which is great. The Chariot is about setting yourself apart, making yourself unique. Probably one of the best things all of us can do right now is set ourselves apart. Again, Pluto in Aquarius, and then next year when Neptune moves into Aries, it's everything becomes more the same. And so if we can do things to be unique or different, that's what we need to do to stand out, right? With the King of Pentacles, you have the Magician. The Magician is about law of attraction, of course. He is pointing to the Strength card. So the Strength card is about your inner voice and taking control of your inner voice and making sure that you're speaking about your life as you want it to be, not talking about all the issues and problems and challenges, right? So I think that that's what this is saying. Like, to build wealth, you need to speak about it as if it's already happened. With the Lovers, you have the Nine of Swords. Like I said, it's a choice here, Aries. It's like some of you I feel are definitely like, I don't feel bad about this. I feel you're just like looking at love just in general, and you're saying love can be a nightmare, right? Sometimes it can be a nightmare. Sometimes it can be the greatest gift that has ever come to you, right? And so I feel this is a choice that you are trying to make. You're like saying to yourself, do I really want to take the risk of putting myself in something that could be a nightmare, or what should I do here? And again, I can't make that decision for you. You have to be the one to make that decision. What I will say is it's like you don't have to overcommit to something. You can date a person and see how it goes and take your time. Don't rush. With the Knight of Swords here, you can slow things down. And if the person shows you that they're willing to put the work in, great, you found a good person. If they don't, leave. Plain and simple, right? Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the 7th house. It says relationship on it. You have this 4th house. It says home on it. So a lot of you could be getting into something that feels like home. So again, this could be a good connection for those of you that are looking for a new connection or new love. This could also be your relationship to your home. You definitely are one of the signs that could be moving. I mean, Jupiter in your 4th house in Cancer, definitely moving comes up for Aries. So I don't know, wouldn't surprise me if you were thinking about moving. Again, even Jupiter in the 4th, you don't have to move. It can just say that you're upgrading your home or you're making changes in the home. So that would be good. It is also your Jupiter in your 4th is also your relationship to your home, right? Like how you feel in the home, what you surround yourself with, all those things. You have the Queen of Swords, the Strength card, and the Ace of Pentacles. The Queen of Swords is clarity. This month definitely this has been like a major collective message for like everyone, that it seems to me like this month we could be getting answers, or we could be getting like some guidance on like what we should be doing in our life, or where we should be going, or what we should be working on. And she is clear for the first time. She only has clouds halfway up her body, and so she is seeing her future more clearly. Her back is to the past. And so I feel for a lot of you could just be getting a lot of clarity right now. You have the Strength card. Like I said, working on the words that you say to yourself is going to be important. It is a communicative month, if you want to call it that. It's very mental. We have a good amount of air energy for the rest of the month still. Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius, things like that. So I don't know. I do think it is a good time to watch your words. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, everybody has had a bunch of aces at the end of the year here. It's crazy to me. It started, I think, in September. Like, everybody all of a sudden started getting all these aces in their reading. So, even though there's a Mercury retrograde, it doesn't matter. It's like maybe it would still be a good time to work on something new. I would start now. Today is October 12th, so this video will be published on the 13th. If you're watching this like before the 21st is, a good time to get started. But the other thing is that I always tell people, like, if you're starting something that you've already worked on during a Mercury retrograde, that's perfectly acceptable. So again, you can still start something during a Mercury retrograde if it's something you've already done. And, a lot of you could be getting a solid opportunity to do something that you have been doing, but maybe in a different way. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Five of Pentacles. Again, Five of Pentacles and the good stuff would be coming out of the cold. The other thing is, with the Strength card, the Five of Pentacles represents needing to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. So a lot of you could be just focused more on your strengths. With the Strength card, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles and the good stuff is progress. So I think a lot of you definitely are making a lot of progress as we move forward here. I feel a lot of you are kind of like working on new things. As I've said to you many times in the past, Aries, I think Aries' life has been more like plateaued over the past several years, where it's like the same, more, it's like maybe something has been too much the same for too long. There's been no like upward momentum in your life, and it's like you're finally creating that upward growth. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be a solid love connection. Again, for those of you that want love, this looks very good. You could definitely be attracting something like a person who sweeps you off your feet, or a person who really makes you happy. So I would go for it. You have this man card. It says dealings or relationships with a man. You have this finger. It says warning you of a problem either now or in the future. Yes, if you meet a person not even in love, this could be in work or business or any or even friendship. If someone seems like a problem, guess what? They probably are. So you should probably avoid it now so it doesn't become a much bigger issue in the future. You have this mountain road. It says you're on the road to success. Love it. Definitely. You have the Ten of Pentacles, Chariot, Ace of Swords. You have some really good cards here, so definitely could be a lot of success. You have this rabbit. It says too much concern with sexual matters. Yes, it's like maybe you need to be careful of people who are like this or people who are too concerned with sexual matters. Unless that's what you're into, Aries, right? You have no judgments here. You have the career card. Definitely focused on your career. I feel that you are focused on upward momentum. Like I said, it's like you're trying to get up the ladder, basically, with this energy, and I think that's a great thing for you to focus on. You have this dark woman. It says dealing with relationships with a woman with dark complexion or hair. You have this bird flying. It says news is on the way. Yes, every single person has had something about communication this month. So it's just one of those months where we could be receiving a lot of news or information, and we should be using it to be successful. But this looks really good, Aries. Like I said, make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. But looks good. So definitely enjoy your month.